Record. Hello, beautiful community. And I am so happy to be here with you for our Divine Awakening live training. I'm Sherry Nichols. For those of you who are new to the group, I want to welcome you and check in. How are you doing? How are you doing as we head into May? So hard to believe that we're almost halfway through this year. So it's a great time to really be thinking about how you want to spend the rest of the year. Because I don't know about you, but it is going super fast for me, super fast. And I want you to type in the chat if you are ready to make the rest of this year your best ever. Type in yes, big caps. And I'd also like to know where you're all calling in from, where you're all watching from. I know we have people from all over the world, and it always puts a smile on my heart to know those of you where you are coming in from. Just so you know too, that I am doing these through Zoom, so I don't always see, well, I don't see what's coming in to the Facebook group, but I definitely read it. I read every single comment afterwards. And so I just want to welcome you and thank you for being here with us today for this training, which is one of the things I love doing in this group is offering you the live 15-minute training. And as you know, we are bringing through information that I receive from Jesus every morning as I drink my coffee and listen, ask questions and listen. And so, as I said, this is a really important time for you to be thinking about how do you want to spend the rest of this year? Because the thing that came through strongly was about looking at this issue around feeling stuck and how do you get unstuck? And so I know some of the things that I do, but I really wanted to ask God, what is it? What does he have to say about this? And so there were 5 questions that he answered for me this morning that I cannot wait to share with you and to help you understand what it looks like to get unstuck. And I was really thrilled because it's not difficult. You know, what I find is that we all tend to make our lives so complicated and difficult. And if we and there's better solutions. So I want to just get on with that for you now in our training. And so I'm gonna, I also want you to just type in the comments though, if you are feeling stuck and you are ready to get unstuck, type in yes. Again, yes. All caps, yes. Yeah, I know many of you are, and I hear it all the time as well on all the calls that I have that I'm privileged to have with so many of you and with my clients as well, some of which are in this group. So yeah, it's just an absolute privilege to be able to take the pulse of where people are at. So for today, what I asked about getting unstuck and what the message would be that would really be helpful to you. And I'm looking down because I'm reading my notes. I don't want to miss a word that was given to me for you. And so what would really help you to get unstuck, and it came through, this is what the answer was. It's imperative that you have a vision for your life. Something that excites you to the core of your being, not just, I think it would be nice maybe to do this kind of vision. It must be something that rocks your soul. And when the word came through rocks, I'm telling you, my soul, like I could feel the vibrations coming off of it. It has to be something that really deep to the core of your being that only you can bring forth, that really that you have a passion about, that you're excited about. And then he goes on to say that it must ignite your senses. It must implode. I kept thinking, do you mean explode? But I kept, don't ever question God. And I heard, no, implode all doubt and worry with its thrill of coming into existence. So in other words, whatever that vision is that's going to rock your soul. it's just going to implode all doubt and worry about your life. And don't let there be doubt and worry about how it's going to come into existence, because the very thought of it coming into existence in and of itself is going to implode that doubt and worry, is what I really got from this. And the thought of, and then it goes on to say that the thought of this vision makes you giddy with tingles. Do you remember having those visions where it just excited you to no end? Well, I think what happens is that we get in this rut and then we forget how that feels. And it's about what he's telling us to do is get back to the vision. You know, it says in the Bible that we perish without a vision. Other interpretations say that we just stumble around. We move and we stumble around and we stumble around. And we get nowhere and we feel lost and we feel stuck. So it's about getting back to that passion, that vision that gives you the tingles. The idea of this vision, he goes on to say, brings joy to your spirit and happiness to your heart. Your body expands in anticipation of enjoying this thing that you've identified as what you truly would love. Now, he says the only thing left to do is to go for it, And so I love this. So how do we get unstuck? We have a vision. We have a vision for our life. You know, being stuck is feeling lost. It's feeling stagnant. It's feeling a deadness inside of us. I know, I've been there and I've been going through it myself. When there is change, you know, disruption isn't just about having disruption in a marriage. Disruption is in all levels of your life, in every aspect of your life. And what happens oftentimes is where you've been, what used to work, if that's not working anymore, if, you know, sometimes God dries up that soil because he wants you to move in a new direction. And that's been happening with me as well. And so I understand, absolutely. But what I know for sure is that it does require a new vision. And that can seem a little daunting to some of us because we like where we've been. We like how things used to be and how they worked out. But that isn't how we grow. You know, I really do believe that God has us go a certain amount of time and then creates a disruption in our life, no matter where we're at and no matter with what we're doing in all areas of our life, because the whole key to life is about growing. And that's when we can feel stuck, because there's that part of us that doesn't really want to put in what we consider to be the energy into that growth. But what's on the other side of that is amazing. Can you imagine if you think about this? You know, even if you don't have kids, you've been around babies that are trying to walk. And they get up and they take a few steps and they fall down. They get up, they take a few steps and they fall down. They see something they want to go towards it. They get up, that motivates them. They take a few steps, they fall down. What if they just said to themselves, you know what? I was just happy, crawling around on the ground. This getting up and walking stuff, yeah, it seems like maybe it'd give me some extra freedom, but I don't know. It's too tough because every time I get up, I keep falling down. And you stayed on the floor crawling for the rest of your life. Imagine how much you would miss out on. That it takes that motivation, that determination, and that's what a vision will do for you, is it will give you the motivation to keep going when you feel like you don't have the energy. So that was the first question that I asked, the first answer. And then the second question has to do with what I'm just speaking to here. What do you do when you feel defeated? When maybe things haven't worked out and when you are afraid to dream again? And I wanted to ask that question because so many of the women that I have the privilege of talking to have told me that they don't have a dream anymore, or they've lost connection to it, or that when it comes right down to it and we dig a little more, they're afraid to dream because things haven't worked out and they don't want to be disappointed again. So if that's you, know that you are not alone, and this message is really for you. This is meant for you. So what God said around this was to slow down and assess your life. Slow down and assess your life. Take some time, get out of the busyness, get out of it. You deserve that. You're worthy of that. to take some time to reflect. He says to consider all that did go right. Consider everything that did go right in your life up till now. And I know that there is plenty that went right for you because I've been there. And when I look back and look at, oh my gosh, you know what? This went right, and this went right, and this went right. It gives you a much more true and real perspective about your life. And then he goes on to say, believe in possibility. Remember, my disruption in your life is cause for pause. I'm going to say that again. My disruption in your life is cause for pause. That's a writer downer. To reflect, to take stock, and to grow. If you don't like where you're at right now, it doesn't mean that you're done. It means a new direction. It means a new direction, period. That could be a new idea, a new thought pattern that's more supportive to your life, feeling more fulfilled. It could be a move, physical or mental, from one location to another, right? If we get stuck in a groove of thinking a certain way, which we all do, myself included, absolutely. We want to move that thought. We want to move location. We want to move to a better and higher thought. So that's a location move as well. Or maybe it's time to move on from your physical location. I have many friends who are moving right now. They've decided they want a different life in a different area for different reasons, but they've made that decision. And they're not in their 20s or 30s. Sometimes we think if we get to a certain age and we think, oh, it's done. I just have to, I've made my bed. Now I have to lay in it. No, what he's saying here is so the opposite. Absolutely not. Don't ever have that thought in your mind. It is never too late to have a new thought and a new direction and a new vision for a new life. Absolutely. So then he goes on to say that it could also mean a new career path or a different focus for your fulfillment. A lot of times, I don't know, this thought just dropped in. If you're a mom and now all of a sudden you're an empty nester and you feel like, that was your purpose, to raise kids and to make sure that they get to just have this amazing life and that you're a big part of that by forming them. And then once they're out of the house, you can feel sad, you can feel empty, you can feel like, oh, what is my purpose now? And you can just feel kind of lost. So what he's saying here is that it could be a different focus for your fulfillment. It could mean a different direction in your home life. If things are stale and stagnant, maybe the vision is to learn how to spice things up together again. If you're having, marital issues, which I know a lot of you in this group are, that it could mean that, or you're in a relationship and it just doesn't feel exciting. That they did a study and they discovered that love that you feel, like everything's right with the world, that lasts maybe about 2 years, and after that it's gone, right? So longevity in a relationship, it means that you have to put in some effort. It's like tending a garden. I know you've heard that analogy many, many a times, but it is true. You have to tend that garden, and you can't just take it for granted and think it's going to run on its own. So get together with your partner and dream up a new vision for what life looks like with the two of you and how to spice things up. And then he also goes on to say, to see each other with new eyes. Yeah, to see each other with new eyes. To appreciate the little things and not get wrapped up in the little things. So that's a dichotomy there, right? So two ways of looking at little things. You don't want to, stress over it and have it ruin things, but you also want to appreciate it so you can expand things. So shift your perspective to one of gratitude, and happiness will follow. So then I asked, what is the vision for reinvention? Because I know for a lot of us, I know I went through it when I had issues and my marriage crumbled. Then I kind of, had this to make a new vision that meant reinventing myself. And even if you're not on, having, in the mode of divorce, you're still at a place in your relationship, in your marriage, that things are different. And so you have the opportunity to look at yourself and say, well, how can I reinvent myself in this situation? And how can what can I do? And so this was a short but very powerful response that I got from God. And the answer was, how do you reinvent? What is the vision for reinvention? And his answer was to own your worth and to know that you are more than enough and to start acting like it. It's pretty powerful. The next question I asked is there anything else you want to impart to us? And what I got was, become your own best friend. See the best outcome for yourself. Believe it's possible for yourself, just as you would believe it for anyone that you love. And then I asked, well, how do you believe again, God? Because sometimes when we're at a place of feeling defeated or things just haven't gone well, I know what it's like to lose belief. And what I got was, tell yourself a different story. Tell yourself a different story, right? Because our life, how we approach life, it's all about the stories that we tell ourselves. And so his answer was, tell yourself a different story. If you don't like where you're at and you want to recreate belief in your life, tell yourself a different story that supports belief. Stop deliberating. He goes on to say, stop deliberating over spilt milk. Move on. Imagine a fresh start and know that time bends and does not keep track of the past. I thought this was so powerful. I'm going to say it again. Imagine a fresh start and know that time bends and does not keep track of the past. So why should you? This is God talking. Why should you? If time doesn't keep track of the past, why should you? It just pollutes your mind. And he goes on to say that every time you step into the next minute of time, it's a fresh start. Every time you take a step into the next minute of time, it's a fresh start. Wow, that's really mind-boggling. You have the choice of how you step into that next minute, carrying the past or looking at possibility with fresh eyes. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. Now, this is so true. And when he talks about pausing, slowing down, and reflecting, I just have to say, I am a huge proponent of that. I just got back from a 4-day masterminding with my partner in believing. She's a dear, dear soul sister in my life. We've known each other for over 30 years, and she is one of my best friends in life. And every year for the past 4 years, we have set aside time to step away from our lives and to mastermind together about what our next step is, our next move, what we want to create, our vision, in other words, for our next evolution of ourselves and our business and our personal life and all aspects. And I always come away from that feeling so charged up and excited and thrilled. And it does require that you take some time. Now, does it mean you have to go away for several days to do that? No. If you can, obviously it's fabulous. But you can do that every day. You can set some time aside to spend alone. And I really encourage and invite you to do that. And in addition to that, we both have had lots of coaching, and we've got the systems and the formulas, and we've got the know-how of how to do it. And so I am going to invite you as a next step for you to not only take that time for yourself, but to really get off the sidelines. You know what? Life is short. Do something for yourself. Get some coaching. If it's not with me, do it with somebody. But I love it. I am passionate about helping women get to the other side. There is nothing that gives me more joy and more thrill. Because let me tell you something, it's hard to see the picture when you're the one in the frame. That's a Les Brown statement, and it could not be more true. If you could do it, you would have done it. You are smart. You are intelligent. You do not want to be stuck. You do not want to stay stagnant. I know this. And you have to believe enough in yourself, and you have to think you're worthy enough to invest in yourself. And I hope to God you do, because there is no better investment than the investment you make in yourself and moving out of stuckness. How much time are you wasting being stuck? It's silly to be stuck when there are options to move forward. And you cannot always do it by yourself. So as I said, if you want to get unstuck, if you want a clear vision, which is one of my strengths, and is helping people create that vision for themselves and helping them assess what it takes to do that, helping them see where they need to go and the steps to get there, I am inviting you to choose to coach with me, to empower yourself, to make that move, to help me empower you. And the first step is to get on a call with me. And like I said, if it's not me, do it with somebody else. Do not stay stuck. Do not stay in the drudgery, thinking that your life is done, thinking that there's no solution. There is always a solution, always. We just need help. And it would be my honor and my privilege and my absolute pleasure to empower you to move forward with your life. Because I know that there is risk in everything you do, but there is more risk in staying stuck and not becoming the person that you are meant to be. So set up a time to chat with me at callwithsherry.com. I've just had my assistant put some new times on it for the next few days, and it would be an absolute, as I said, honor and pleasure to chat with you. We will focus 100% on you, where you're at, where you want to go, and how to move forward. And so again, if that speaks to you, callwithsherry.com and schedule a time. And if you don't see a time on there that works for you, DM me. I will figure out a time to chat with you, because I care about you and your movement forward. So it's been, thank you for showing up here today. Thank you for being with me today. And I'm just sending you so much love and so many blessings for your new vision. Bye for now.